Herb Washington was born in the year November 16, 1951. He grew up in Milzoni, Mississippi with a population of only about 2,157 people to this day. He then went to school at Central High School in Flint, Michigan, and for college he went to Michigan State University. He first started off his career as a star track sprinter world record holder. Here is some information about it. During the 1972 indoor season, he tied Kurt Clayton's 2-year-old hand-timed world record in the 50-yard dash of 5.0 at a meet in Toronto, which Mel Pender also tied twice a month later. The following week, he set the 60-yard dash record outright, stopping the clock at 5.8 at a home meet in East Lansing. Neither record has been surpassed as of 2019, as races run in yards are rare, with records for these having been discontinued in 1976, and hand time ceased to be accepted from 1977. A few years later, Washington said that his biggest disappointment had been not qualifying for the 1972 Summer Olympics. 2. Washington was on the cover of the February 1972 issue of Track and Field News. 3. In 1973, Washington again tied the 50-yard record at the same meet in Toronto. Later that summer, Washington won the International Pacific Conference Games 100 meters also in Toronto. After his career in sprinting, the Oakland Athletics found interest in him and took him in as a base running specialist, they called it. He gave it a shot and he got his MLB debut in April 4, 1974. His last appearance was May 4, 1975. He played in 105 official games. Here is a news report about it.
One more baseball story. The Oakland A's are trying an experiment this spring. They've signed a sprinter, Herb Washington of Michigan State, as a possible pinch runner. Dick Hammer has the story.
Sprinter Herb Washington last played baseball in high school. The Michigan State star, world record holder in the indoor 50 and 60-yard dashes, signed last week with Oakland as a running specialist. His first day in camp included a refresher course on pickoff moves under the supervision of manager Alvin Dart.
I think really the main thing is getting him acclimated to standing at first base and watching the pitchers make different moves towards home and towards first. That's the main thing right now.
Washington got a look at the A's best, lefty Darrell Knowles. And he has a pretty good move, doesn't he?
He sure does. He sure does. And they tell me he's the best in the business. So when you got somebody like that right there in your team, I know that I'll be ready for anyone else.
Did you begin to feel comfortable after the first couple of throws over there this morning?
I really did. You know, I kind of got loose, and it was a for real situation today because I'm sure that they know that if they can pick me off, that they should be able to pick off anyone else in the league. And I tell you, it's going to be a challenge right here in practice. I tell you, practice might be harder than some games for myself with Knowles and Blue and Odom and guys like that throwing over there.
There have only sadly been 2 accounts of his appearances on the internet about his time in Oakland I know about. The clip I just showed you, and this clip of him in the 1974 World Series Game 2 of him getting picked off.
Now the runner taking over is the speedster Herb Washington.
He's the only man in baseball, and it could only happen with the Oakland Ball Club, where they hire a man to do nothing but run. Herb Washington, a world-class sprinter, holds a world indoor record in the 50, 100-yard dashes. He is now running for Joe Rudy at first base.
Marshall, for a right-hander, is very quick in coming over to first base. So if Herb Washington, representing the tying run, tries to take too much of a lead, he would be susceptible. Marshall can come over there in a hurry.
Washington had to learn how to get a lead, how to slide. He's done it almost on sheer speed. And he's won some games late in the year. Still trying to find out how to get a lead, he says.
Marshall is trying to take advantage of his, let's say, lack of maturity by stepping off the rubber twice now and faking a throw. And the third time.
3-2 Los Angeles. Herb Washington at first. Reggie Jackson and Alvin Dart watching intensely.
They got him.
Yes, sir. Marshall picked him off.
I knew if he was going to try and take that lead, Mike was too quick for him, and he nailed him. He really set him up by stepping off the rubber 3 times. And that was all part of it. Now watch out. He's got him leaning on his right leg. He is hung out to dry all the way. Take it from another look, and it's simply experience over immaturity. And look at there. He is dead.
The outspoken A's players have criticized their manager for using Washington at times. Nothing personal against him, but they just don't think that he has the instincts for baseball.
So after his time in the big leagues, he went on to other things. He first went on to being a McDonald's franchise owner, owning 21 McDonald's at one point, also suing the company for racial discrimination, also going on to founding a minor league hockey team in 2005. In 2005, he founded the Youngstown Steelhounds minor league hockey franchise in the Central Hockey League, CHL. The Steelhounds were removed from the CHL in 2008 for non-payment of league dues. Washington said that he had paid the league's expansion team fees but that he owed some money, which he was withholding because the league did not reimburse him for some travel expenses. 14. The International Hockey League, IHL, expressed some interest in picking up the Youngstown team, but the league dropped the idea after no serious meetings were held between the team and the IHL. 15. Even though his MLB career has been shined onto his worst part of his career, he did end up getting 7th in most steals in 1974, getting his own MLB card, and did steal 31 bases in 48 tries, getting a little above league average in base running at the time. So overall he had a pretty good career and a historic one too. And not just in baseball.